German 40 technical analysis. The last time we spoke about this particular chart or this index, we had spoken about how we have these two candlesticks over here. If I can just mark them, right? We spoke about how we have those two candlesticks. They are bullish candlesticks with small bodies and quite long upper bodies. And what they tell us is that there's a lot of money stuck at that level in the form of liquidity, and that in the future we will see the market probably head up to that level to grab all of that liquidity. Another thing that motivates for why the market has to come to this area over here, in my humble opinion, is that we had this very nice W structure. In my humble opinion, it started, and I believe that it should end more or less at this zone over here. So what I'm saying in other words is that chances are we're gonna see the market actually push further up to around this level over here to grab all of the liquidity. Another thing that is very much interesting or important that I want to point out is that if you actually have a look at this area over here, we have a very nice M structure which has a second leg at that point. And by now you guys know that whenever we have these M structures, a lot of traders and investors usually sell on the second leg of that M structure, and they place their stop losses just above. So there are a lot of stop losses that are sitting in and around this area over here. And as much as we have those two liquidity candlesticks that are at that point that are carrying all of that money, we also have a lot of money sitting here in the form of stop losses. And as I've said, chances are that we're going to see the market push further up, not only to grab the liquidity at this point that's represented by those two candlesticks, but also to grab those stop losses that are sitting at that point, right? So as I've said, chances are that we are going to see the market actually move further up to around at least this level, and possibly also this level over here where those stop losses are, right? Let me just zoom in a bit. Another thing that motivates for why we're likely going to see the market push further up is that we actually have an overextended W structure over here which has a neckline at that point. And you guys know that whenever we have these patterns, we want to see price breaking to the upside of that neckline, and then in the future coming back to that neckline to test it. And at this point is generally where we look for those potential buying opportunities. So should price from where it is come back to this level over here, at that level is where we would look for potential buying opportunities. Not only is this level the neckline of this W structure, but it's also a very strong level of support. And as I've said, should price come back to this level, we are going to look for those potential buying opportunities, right? Anyway, from here what I'm going to do, guys, is just add a neckline for that structure. Just bear with me, guys. So we could say that this is the neckline of our overextended W structure. I also want to mark those two candlesticks at the top where they actually end. Just bear with me while I do so, guys. Let's see. We expect price to more or less come to, let's say, this level over here, right? Anyway, let's proceed. So what else do we see on this chart that we should be paying attention to? At this point I don't see much, so what I will do is head down to the daily chart, and here we are on the daily chart. And just to recap, remember on the weekly chart we spoke about how we have if I can just draw this, right, we spoke about how we have this overextended W structure which has a neckline at that point. And on the weekly chart I said should price come back to the neckline, at the neckline is where we should be looking for those potential buying opportunities. But now that we are on the daily chart, we can see actually that the market went above that neckline and then came back to the neckline to test it, and at the neckline is where we should have looked for those potential buying opportunities. And that is because number one, we have this W structure, number two, we have the neckline over there, number three, we had price breaking to the upside of that neckline and then coming back to the neckline to test it. And as I said, at this point is where we should have looked for those potential buying opportunities. Also bear in mind that this neckline is also a very strong level of support, and it also motivates for why at this point we should be looking for those potential buying opportunities, right? Anyway, what I'm going to do now here is head down to the H4 chart. However, before I do so, I just also want to point out that we have this candlestick over here. It is a bearish candlestick with a relatively small body and quite a long higher wick. And what it tells us, guys, is that we have a lot of liquidity stuck here, and that in the future we will see the market head down to this level to grab that liquidity and that is because, as I always say, liquidity is money that needs to be triggered by the market at one point or another, right? In fact, before I go down to the H4 chart, I just want to add my daily channel. Just bear with me when I do so. And remember, guys, that whenever it comes to the drawings that we add to our charts, for the most part, we need to make sure that they are as accurate as possible, just to ensure that ultimately when we do execute, our execution is also very much accurate, right? So there we go, there goes our daily channel. And as I said, from here what I'm going to do is head down to the H4 chart. On the H4 chart, I'm just going to fix my channel somewhat. Just bear with me, guys, when I do so. Let's have a look. So there we go, there we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. More or less, there we go, right? So what do we see on the H4 chart? Just to recap, guys, just to recap, remember on the bigger time frames, we actually spoke about how we have this huge overextended W structure, which has a neckline at that point, and we said that price broke to the upside of that neckline and then came back to the neckline to test it, and at the neckline is where we should have looked for those potential buying opportunities. And our first take profit, in my humble opinion, should be where we have those two candlesticks at the top, which I spoke about earlier. And yeah, anyway, let's proceed. What else do we see, guys, in regards to the H4 chart? In fact, before we continue, I just want to add my H4 channel as well, because it's very much important. Just bear with me, guys, while I add this channel. There we go, more or less. There we go, there we go, there we go, more or less. Right. And just to zoom in, as much as I said that at this level, after price broke to the upside of the neckline, came back to the neckline to test it, and at this point we should have looked for potential buying opportunities. Just bear in mind that we had also had this M structure over here, which had a neckline more or less at that level. Can you guys see that? And we can see that price had broken to the bottom side of that neckline of that M structure, and then went back to the neckline to test it. And at this point where we have the neckline, guys, we could have easily seen the market push further down, right? But we can see that the neckline of that M structure was not able to hold price, and the market continued to move further up, which is a good thing in my humble opinion. Having said that, another thing that I also want to point out is that as much as I said that the anticipation is for price to continue to move further up, what may possibly also happen is that we might have this pattern over here, which is a head and shoulders pattern. This would be the left shoulder, this would be the head, and this would be the right shoulder, right? So we just need to be careful. Let me just actually zoom in a bit. We just need to be careful that at this point we don't potentially see the market push further down, right? But myself personally, I will be looking for buying opportunities up until the market reaches those levels that I spoke about earlier, right? But be careful, you might potentially at this point see the market push further down, because the market would give us this head and shoulders pattern. You guys see that, and it would have a neckline at that point. And should price close below this trend line, right, as well as this neckline, chances are that we might see it, or see the market push further down. Can you guys see that? Anyway, in as far as buying or selling at this point in time, I don't see any opportunities. Nonetheless, having said that, what I will be doing is looking for more opportunities for the market to continue to push further up. So that is it in as far as my analysis goes. I just hope it makes sense. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel if you do indeed like it, and peace out, everybody.